Hello friends, and welcome to tonight's beer review. Tonight, the beer I'm going to review tonight, it's the first time I ever bought a beer solely because of the package art without really knowing anything about the company. So the beer we're going to be reviewing tonight is called Troublesome, and it's a Gose style beer, and you know how I love Goses. Now, if you kind of look at it, you can see that the art on this 4-pack is very different, very compelling, and it's a little bit reminiscent of Maurice Sendak. So, this is a Gose style beer, so it's a wheat beer brewed with coriander. This is from the off-color brewing company of Chicago, Illinois, and they sort of focus on trying to bring back, trying to create traditional, lesser-known styles from Germany and Eastern Europe. And so this one here is their take on the Gose style. And the Gose style, for those of you who haven't seen my previous reviews, is a style of beer where instead of hops being the major flavoring component and barley being the major malt component, wheat is the major malt component and rock salt and coriander is the flavoring component. Also too, lactobacillus is used in the brewing, in the fermentation process, so that the beer takes on a more tart and funky sort of flavor profile as opposed to a strictly yeast fermentation. Now, this is somewhat expensive. It's over $13 in Hawaii. I've heard, when I looked at it online, people were sort of grousing about the 4-pack being $10 on the mainland. It's like, I wish most 4-packs were $10 here in Hawaii. And also, too, people tend to grouse. It's only 4.3 ABV. This style of beer is not really alcohol heavy. That's okay. You don't really want it to be alcohol heavy. Now, this is a blend of two different fermented batches. They have a regular wheat beer, and they also have, a strong sour. So why did they make it a blend? I don't know. You'd have to go and ask them yourselves. I'd like to go and try more beers from these people. This is the only one of theirs I've seen in Hawaii so far. There's some styles that they make that I've never had before, never tried before at all. So, I'm expecting this to be, well, I've already had one, and it was very different from the Anderson Valley Goses that I've had. But, of course, Anderson Valley Goses and the Westbrook Gose, which is one on the East Coast, which I'm probably not going to be able to try anytime soon, are sort of renowned for being super sour, super tart, super salty. Whereas I've seen people on Beer Advocate message boards saying that true German Goses are a little bit more, like Rittergut's Gose is much more subtle in its tartness and salt content. And this one, yes, it's much more subtle. So, shall we pour it out? We shall. Most interesting smell. I'll get to that. Not much of a head, but Goses don't make much of a head. I'm going to go straight to the nose because the head's going to very frothy. Busy is going to disappear soon. Very funky. You smell the wheat. You smell the lactobacilli. What I would definitely go and compare this smell to is to of sour poi. Poi, poi being the Hawaiian, staple, that purplish paste-like stuff. And usually when you don't eat it fresh, you just leave it out for a while, it gets a very sour taste to it. And, it smells. And it's pretty much the same bacteria that causes the sourness in poi and the sourness in the beer, which is lactobacilli. some slight mineral notes. Wheat funk, I think I mentioned that already. Coloration is a very pale yellow, highly carbonated, somewhat translucent, but not super cloudy. Usually this style is supposed to be unfiltered. Again, lots of that sort of wet stone smell, that sort of lactic, sour, fermenting smell. And of course, wheat. When I say wheat as, it doesn't smell like bread or anything like that, when you say wheat in regards to sort of that funky kind of maltiness. Extremely light-bodied, that's sort of to be expected. Very refreshing. There is sourness there, but it is not an intense sourness. It's much more laid back. So sourness is at its peak in the mid palate, sort of declines in the finish, leaving just a little bit of residue on the tongue. Has that sort of wheat body to it. Definitely taste it from start to finish. That sort of wheat maltiness, wheat funky maltiness. There's that sort of soapy floralness that that sort of, I call it sort of dish soap kind of soapy floralness, because that's what it reminds me of, from the coriander in the finish. It's very subtle, it's not intense, which is good because I tend to be a little bit oversensitive to that taste. Saltiness is very understated in this too. When I had the Anderson Valley Goses, it definitely tastes like someone did a salt shaker in this. This one is just a slight sort of savoriness to the beer from the start to the finish, almost as an afterthought. The primary flavor element, I'm going to say, is a sourness and tartness, but really, really reduced compared to Anderson Valley and probably Westbrook Gose. So if you're looking for a super sour, mouth-puckering experience, you're not going to get it. You're going to get something that I think is very well balanced, in that one of the problems that I had with Anderson Valley ones, in retrospect, now that I think about it, is I didn't really get a sense of the malts there. Here you're still getting a sense of the malts. Here you're still getting a sense of the lactobacilli. The lactobacilli hasn't been pushed to the point where, it just creates a sort of beer lemonade. It's nicely understated. And I really can't wait to go and try a German-style Gose, which I might do sooner rather than later, because it looks like I might get a temp job in the upcoming week. And I saw Ritterguts on the shelf at the liquor store, so, picking up a nice little Steiner of Ritterguts might be interesting. Honestly, for those who don't like super sour things, this is probably a good introduction to the Gose style. A very radically different take on beer. I guess I haven't really emphasized it enough, but this is very different from what you would consider the flavor of beer to be. Considering, that hops is usually such a strong component in beer flavoring. As well as a sort of yeast fermentation. Sorry, it's very carbonated. So I would definitely go for this one, if you're not the kind of person who likes super sour things, but kind of wants to know what the Gose style is like. And, if you're in the Midwest, it's probably the easiest one to go and get your hands on. I really enjoy this. As you know, I sort of like sessionable styles. Gose is an incredibly sessionable style. Very light-bodied, very refreshing. Would I get this particular one again? Well, maybe if I start making more money. $13 is kind of a bit for a 4-pack. I know people complain, well, I can get a 4-pack of something twice as strong. Well, most of the cost in, beer making is in bottling, shipping, handling, all this other kind of stuff. So whether you're making a 4-pack of an Imperial Stout or a 4-pack of a Gose, it's going to end up being the same price, more or less. So I kind of understand why it's still pretty expensive. I just wish that they would release it in 6-packs, because, with a light beer you want 2 or 3 of them, and that's kind of hard to pull with a 4-pack, I like to do that. You can really pretty much drink this and just have only like the lightest of buzzes, You're not wiped out. And hey, it's got rock salt in it, so it replenishes sweat as well. So, Troublesome from Off Color Brewing. Very cool bottle and pack art. Very well crafted taste. I really want to go and try some of the more obscure styles that they make. This is one that I would definitely go and recommend you go and try, just for the uniqueness of it. In fact, it's well made, despite being unique, because, there's probably a lot of really bad unique beers. So, go out and get it. It's really good. So, that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.